Starting. Boom. We are live. Welcome to Tokyo Digital Jam, July 2016 edition. With me, we have other members of the Tokyo Digital crew, Tai Nakamura and Mata Gaijinka. Or Shogunai Tai, I should say, actually. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
And now I can hear myself playing back, so I'm going to stop that. Hey, we got Tokyo Model Detective in the comments, so that is good to see. We are not alone.
Good.
That's a relief. As I've mentioned in my other shows, I have just started a new job, and I am trying to get everything under control at the moment. So I have not been creating much lately, and it's kind of frustrating. But you guys have been doing. What have you guys been making lately?
Oh, you first, Ty. Okay, I'll go first then. I just released a piece called Hope in Dystopian Times. It's a futuristic kind of, I don't know, electronic thing. I don't really know how to describe it. And I got a few other pieces on the go that I should really get back to. I'm working on a kind of rhythmic 70s kind of trancey kind of number, which I'm actually rather pleased with. It's going to be good.
So you know what? I just realized I have not heard your track. The problem is I can't plug it in and play it without losing all my sound, but I would quite like to share it. It'd be cool if we could play it in the background. It looks like Ty's lost his Wi-Fi. But you know what? Well, so how about this? How about I plug in the track and you describe it while I play it?
Okay.
We'll see if that works.
I hope my description works.
So tell us what you're doing with it. Hang on a sec. Let me pull it up SoundCloud now. So what else? You've been busy?
Just working on my PhD stuff. I got my my first comprehensive exam in August. Public policy and public administration.
Okay.
Very dry stuff. I've been pretty much just doing that and making tracks, and some days just doing nothing because I can't be bothered.
You should do like a simulation of what would happen if Donald Trump became like Prime Minister of Canada. That'd be exciting.
Couldn't be worse than Justin Trudeau.
What are you talking about? Everyone loves his abs.
Yes, his abs and his hair and his father's name. But it's like I always say, if he had been...
It's a French name.
Smith,
did you know that?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Most of our prime ministers are from Quebec. But you know, if it hadn't been for his father's name, if he'd been like John Smith, he would never have been elected leader of the Liberal Party.
Yeah.
And I must say, I much prefer his old man to him. Pierre Elliott Trudeau was one of the greatest prime ministers we have.
Okay, well, he's got half of his genes.
Yeah, I don't know who his mother is, but yeah, I don't know. He's done nothing really at all useful.
Hasn't he like legalized marijuana or something, or is that not yet?
No, it's not yet.
Okay.
I'm in favor of it. He should.
Yeah, but he hasn't even done like that one thing that would make him cool.
He's done one thing that makes him cool with trans people, like specifically mentioned gender identity and hate crimes laws.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Yeah, I looked at it and it was like it's just virtue signaling. We had those rights before as trans people.
Yeah. And
have used recourse on those grounds successfully in the past. So, but it made himself look good. So,
well, then it was all worth it.
The feminist prime minister. Episode. But I don't know. Yeah, he hasn't really done anything all that useful. I mean, he's helped pandas.
Pandas?
Yes, that's kind of cute. Yeah, he did a photo op with pandas.
I'm a big fan of pandas. See, to me, it sounds like he's being very productive.
Yes, but oh well. And what? To be honest, the Trudeau fan mania is starting to get on my nerves.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try switching my sound, so I won't be able to talk, but I'm going to play the track, so it's all the floor will be yours to talk.
Okay.
Let me switch mic. It'll be.
Well, I hope my description does it justice. Okay, so at this point I had downloaded some new sound effects for Caustic, and I kind of started playing around with them, and then it occurred to me that I could make like a spaceship kind of going from one side to the other side. Ideas to what I want to do after that. So I just kind of added things on and added what's in that meteor shower effect. And then kind of just, yeah, exactly. And then just kind of built it up to kind of fancy stab sort of kind of thing. Yeah. And I got the meteor shower. And then as I started working on it, I didn't have a clear idea as to what I wanted it to be. But then when I got to the second part from here, it started to take a more hopeful outlook rather than it's a nice piece. I'm actually rather proud of it. Yeah. Sort of a quiet, restful moment in my busy life, and it's something that I'm imagining in my head, and then back to the reality. I have to add some variety then. I mean, France is kind of repetitive, but there's also sort of repetition. I love that medium shower thing. Turn up the volume, turn up my sound control. This is a really good opportunity for me to like play with my controls and learn how to do free. And then we go to another quiet bit, very, very cool. We just go so quiet, we'll for about 10, 20 seconds. They were coming up to me where it's just the for about 15 seconds. Then I changed the theme becomes and then it builds up into a different theme, which is actually the theme that represents the whole. There we go, I'm starting now. Then I build that up a bit. Yeah, I think the reason for this kind of a futuristic sort of, for futuristic kind of game. Then we go back, then we go up again. sort of a using delay. It's actually in triplets, just to contrast with the regular flickering record. And then they go into reprisal of the original tune. It's your typical formal structure ABA structure. And back to the original tune. And then from there, just kind of where it ends with the very same way that it started. Just go over the head. That's what I went for, so.
That sound is it's got a really interesting chord progression, and I like the sort of driving. It's sort of a driving beat, but at the same time, it's kind of low key.
There's a spacecraft going overhead. Kind of a floaty thing. It kind of got the idea from Terminator.
This song has a lot of dynamics to it. A lot of ups and lows, ups and highs, you know, and so I like it. Very cool.
Well, thank you. I try and get the dynamics, because I don't think that's something that's just straight through, because that gets boring.
And you're getting a lot better with your drum techniques and how you're using your drums. You're getting a lot more intricacy into them, which is very cool.
I'm really glad of Caustic Free. It's a great app.
Yeah. Now I can talk. I was trying to communicate what I was thinking with my hands the whole time, and I realized it's okay what I'm saying. The hi-hat's really good, but when I wanted to get into like the chord progression and stuff like that, it was kind of hard to wave around. But no, you are apologizing for that not being as repetitive as trance is supposed to be. But dude, that was better. I mean, it was coherent. It had a structure. It actually, you can listen to it for 9 minutes because it varies like that. And the whole thing, it sounds totally solid, like coherent, and I liked it. I like a lot of the effects that you're using as well.
Well, I'm big on effects. I think they make it more interesting.
Well, they do, and the fact that you vary them throughout as well, and in a thoughtful way.
How many different tracks did you use to make that? Like,
Gosh, I don't know. Let me have a look.
because I
Let me
mean,
have-
it sounds really layered. That's why I was asking. Sounds like you got it layered, like maybe 16 different instruments playing at once.
Let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12.
Which
Okay.
program is that in?
That was Caustic.
Caustic?
Caustic 3,
Yeah.
yeah. 12 layers.
It's very cool. I like using it. I got it for my app, but for us, my Samsung tablet. But
Yeah.
I've been using GarageBand a lot more since I don't know. I've just been recording my guitar and stuff like that.
So, Ty, what sort of
Yeah,
stuff
I
have
was
you?
kind of worried. My CPU indicator was starting to spike when I was writing it. I was a bit worried about clipping and stuff.
Yeah. Ty, you said you've been writing stuff for your band. What sort of stuff you've been making?
Yeah, I've been writing some new tracks for the summer here because Michigan we do a lot of house parties and backyard parties and stuff. So yeah, I've been writing some reggae tunes. It's got like a dance hall feel to it though. I don't say dance hall, but more house dance style. A lot of real bassy thud, electronic drums. So it's really cool though. I haven't really mixed down any of the tracks yet or released any of it because I've been really
Yeah.
I want to make it really good, you know. So
But even if it's shitty, I'd actually quite like to hear some of your band stuff as well. Like, it sounds good. Like
Yeah.
it sounds like I want to listen to it.
definitely, I will send you some stuff email, but that's the only way I know how to send it because it's
Yeah.
in such a weird program that I don't even know how to send it other than email.
Okay, yeah, man, I'd love to listen. And actually, I have to thank you, Mata, because actually just listening to that just now, like I said, I've been working like crazy at this new job, and I've been coming home sort of exhausted and late, and doing stuff. And I've got the iPad sitting in front of me. I've carried it in my bag, and I just haven't had the time to sit down. And you lose a bit of the motivation when you're tired. But actually, just listening to you talking through that track just now, I'm like, okay, I want to go and grab my iPad and record something. I just found that very motivating. So thank you for that. I think.
Sorry, I missed all of that. My internet kicked me off.
Yeah, you were kind of froze. I just said thank you. I found that very motivating. Hearing you go through that and play that, it was a great track, and it gave me. I need a bit of a boost at the moment because I'm just kind of exhausted with everything going on. But that was cool. That makes me want to go and pick up the iPad and play something.
Well, I hope you do because I like your stuff too.
Oh, I always feel not worthy with you guys, but I appreciate the encouragement. Ben, have you been doing anything in
I
musical?
like your stuff.
Oh, well, thank you. Ben, have you been doing anything musical?
No, not really actually.
Yeah.
I did actually. I just got a Roland A49 MIDI keyboard, but I've only plugged it in and messed around. Actually, my roommate gave it to me because he was moving out, going back to Sweden, and he didn't want to bring it on the plane. But since I moved to Japan, I haven't had any way to do MIDI other than programming with the mouse, just clicking dots on a grid,
Yeah.
So it's nice to have some way to play it now, but
Yeah.
I'm still lazy though, and it's inspired me a little bit.
Yeah. I actually, when I was looking through Prime Day, so I've been kind of wrapped up in all the propaganda about the big Prime Day sale, and and it's funny, I spent hours just looking through the site for anything that I wanted to buy, and I ended up the only thing I bought was the newer version of something not on sale on a different site, as a computer for my son. But I did take a good long look at the Akai USB keyboards, which you can plug in with the adapter to iPhone and iPad.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of thought about, that would be kind of fun to play around with. They've got the strike pads and they've got the the keys and stuff. But I didn't do it.
For an iPad?
Yeah, well, it's USB, so it's actually for
Oh.
computer, but you can connect it to iPad with the camera adapter, and it will work. It'll be detected by most apps like GarageBand. So, yeah, I know some people who have recommended that, and it looks yeah, kind of tempting, and that was down to like $40. But yes, I ended up. The thing is, because I haven't made anything lately, it feels hard to justify buying having one of those show up in a box at the house. So I decided against it. But I want to get back into it. So.
Yeah,
So-
I haven't been doing anything. I've been inspired to write a song a couple times, but since I've been so busy like with school and I'm looking for a job and stuff, I
can relate to all of that. So yeah. But it's kind of almost because of that you do need to make yourself do it at some point, because it becomes an excuse for stopping everything. But yeah, so tell me, how often has your band been playing? If you can speak.
Yeah, I can. I just had some lawnmowers mowing some lawns behind me, so I didn't want the mic on. But we were actually playing the show here for my brother's birthday on the 29th. And we've got a couple bands that are going to be playing in our backyard, which is going to be pretty cool. And it's going to be a pretty big event. We're going to have tents set up in my backyard and pool party and barbecue.
So, tell me, when you play like a band thing in your backyard in Flint, I assume sound isn't a problem? You don't get like neighbors complaining and stuff like that? Everyone's pretty cool?
Well, for the most part, I got really cool neighbors. We get along really good, so I've never had a problem with neighbors. As long as you go out and talk to them and tell them in ahead, we always tell them ahead of time, like, oh, on this day we're going to be playing a show in the backyard. And most of the time they're pretty cool with it. And we invite them to come and join and have a good time too. So
that's cool.
We usually start pretty early and end pretty early too. I say start around 7, end around 11.
Yeah.
Everyone
what
gets.
kind of PA do you use? Do you have a PA just for the mic, just for the vocals, or do you mic everything?
I don't mic everything. I only use Yamaha 660. Head has got 8 channels, and you can plug in your auxiliary cords and stuff like that to it, which is pretty cool. Yeah, but I got a couple monitors that we use, but it's just one of those basic square PA heads you buy at like a music shop. It's not really a mixing board PA though, but it works. It does the trick. It's got effects on it, which helps, to add a little bit of echo or reverb to the vocals, which is nice.
Get some black metal vocals.
Yeah. Actually, I went to go look at guitars. I'm planning on buying a new guitar.
Ooh.
I don't know if I want to buy Ibanez Artcore or if I want to buy a PRS, a Paul Reed Smith, which is like the guitar Santana plays. So, yeah. And I looked at a couple of them. The Artcore is only about $500, which is more around my price range. PRS is around $1,000, which,
Yeah.
Quite the chunk.
Yeah, that it is. Ben, remind me, where are you from again?
Minnesota.
From Minnesota. Okay. So I'm going back to America for the first time in many years, like in September. But I'll be going to Seattle.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what's worse, Minnesota or Seattle.
Yeah.
It rains a lot in Seattle.
Probably Minnesota. The weather is probably worse in Seattle right now, but
Yeah. In winter, it'd be worse in Minnesota.
yeah.
I don't know. It depends if you like snow or rain.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Well,
Right,
I
I
lived
can
on Vancouver Island for the last 20 years, and it just rains. It just doesn't stop. Now I'm in Ottawa. It gets to -40.
Yeah. It's pretty close to Vancouver, right? Like, it's drivable from Seattle?
Yeah. I don't know how long it takes to drive, but it's definitely drivable.
Yeah, if it's close, it's something as well, just to say I've been to Canada, and it'd be kind of cool to drive over.
I actually transferred from Seattle to Vancouver on my flight to Tokyo. It was a half-hour flight.
Okay, so
Yes.
that's quite far then. Okay.
So, Hiko, do you have a license? Do you drive in Tokyo?
Yeah, I got a Japanese license. I've been here 18 years, so and I just wanted to have it for ID at first.
Right.
And I renew my international license so I can drive whenever I go overseas.
I didn't know you had to have an international license to drive overseas.
So overseas from Japan. So when I go back to Thailand or Australia to see my parents, I always the international license lasts 1 year. So you just go up to the local police station, show them your Japanese license, and they'll say legit. So they give you an international license.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty straightforward. But with that, I can go and rent a car in America and drive around. I don't know what actually. There is a thing that I've been pulled over in Australia for speeding, and the cops had shown me a license, and I showed him the international license, which is this piece of cardboard. And he looked at it, and I was kind of interested actually. What happens with my piece of cardboard? And clearly, the police officer had no idea either. And he kind of looked at me and he said, "You're on an international license." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm from Japan." He's like, he said, "How stupid is that? Just don't do it again." And he let me go. But he was clearly very confused by the situation.
Well, I don't know about the United States, but in Canada, they'll give you a ticket.
They'll give you a ticket.
They don't care. They're traffic cops in Canada are after.
Yeah, well, they are in Australia too, and in New Zealand. I think that's at least there's a 50% greater chance of not getting shot by one of them.
Well, I'll tell you, I got friends that get pulled over and they don't get harassed, but every time I get pulled over, they always want to pull me out the car, handcuff me, throw me in the back of a car, treat me like I'm some freaking terrorist or something. Man, I have the worst time with cops. I do. I always get treated like crap by cops. I'm a pretty reasonable person. I always say sir, yes ma'am to the cops, and I always get treated like shit. I don't know why.
Then you think actually looking Asian would work in your favor usually. That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
Yeah.
Essentially, if you drive up to Canada, watch out for Canada Border Agency, because they are assholes.
Yeah, I've had a couple problems with those guys too.
Canada Border Agency?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume that they like hand out like bags of pot at the border or something and cheap beds.
And they would do it politely too.
Yeah. Welcome to Canada. Here's your bouquet of weed.
Unless you're in Ontario, in which case, welcome to Canada. What the hell are you doing here?
You must be lost.
Detroit's that way.
It is. I mean, Australia is the Alabama of the British Empire, and when I was, I go to sports games in Australia. Like, we have a lot of South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia. We play cricket and rugby. So I remember I went to Brisbane for a game between South Africa and New Zealand, but being played in Australia. So the crowd was full. There was about 20,000 New Zealanders and about 10,000 South Africans. And the thing is that the cops in Australia are racist, but they're racist in a scaredy cat kind of way. So when so it's all kind of fun. There's a beer slope where there's kind of a grass hill, and everyone's where they sell the beer. And there's all the New Zealanders and South Africans start like having little competitions with each other. But the South Africans, of course, are all basically racist refugees who have they're all kind of skinny white guys. And when they're singing or doing a dance or whatever, the police are all fine. But when the New Zealand guys, who half of them are like Pacific Islanders, like Polynesians, when the New Zealanders start responding, they call the riot cops. They start lining up and calm down everybody, and you can tell it's just that they're just afraid of these guys who are just bigger and slightly browner. But the thing, and they're actually being in favor of the South Africans. I'm like, dude, they're the.
Well, Tongans especially have a history of trying to invade everyone.
Tongans, well, Fijians as well. Fijians are troublemakers. Yeah, Tongans kind of they're stuck in the middle there.
Fijians and Tongans that don't
I have
each other.
a crazy story about this Fiji guy I met in Hawaii when I was on a trip for my friend's 18th birthday. I met this guy, and they were there doing outrigger canoe races.
Yeah.
And it was a group of Fiji guys, and this guy kept on giving me $100 bills. Go buy white Russians. Go buy white Russians, and go buy shots. Go buy more drinks. Man, that night I got so sick. I was so sick, man. And that guy just kept on feeding me more drinks and more drinks. I swear, I must have got alcohol poisoning, dude.
Huh?
Yeah. yeah, that'd be good, right? Big Fiji, stealing a big Fiji guy's money. Probably would have took my head off.
They would.
Yeah.
Well, the Fijians are huge. My dad's Fijian, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Not ethnically, but he was born there.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, they're in fact, well, yeah. So my dad was in the army. So actually, the guy who did the first 3 military coups in Fiji, Sidivini or Steve Rabuka, was actually. We used to have barbecues with him at my house as a kid. But
Yeah, they don't like Tongans very much. In fact, it's the Tongans' fault that Fiji became a colony in the first place.
yeah, well, the Tongans, everyone was. You're very knowledgeable about this. Actually, this is stuff I'm surprised I can talk with outside of New Zealand. But yeah, the Samoans and the Fijians respect the fact that the Tongans always kept their independence. You know, they didn't have the brain drain and everything else that the Samoans completely had, and the Fijians not so much. But yeah, man, I mean, to me, it seems to Samoans in New Zealand, so I'm always like, I had a lot of friends with them. The Tongan guys, man, they're big and they've got a lot of pride, obviously. They've got their kings.
Yeah.
Well, they used to force the Fijians to make their canoes.
Did they?
Yeah, in the Lao group, the Tongans would go and get these trees for their big canoes because they didn't have the right kind of trees. And at first it was like, we'll give you like tambua and these items if you make these canoes. Then it turned into, damn it, you're just going to make them. We're just going to take them. You're going to make them. There's nothing you can do about it.
What's interesting is the Fijians are generally bigger than the Tongans as well, so they obviously. They're all. Yeah, and I'm not an expert on that far into the history, but wow, that's really cool. Yeah.
And then when the Europeans came, the Tongans saw an opportunity to become more European, and so they tried to take over Fiji, and the Fijian Thakambau, the king of Fiji, went, "Hey, Britain, help us out here." So the British did.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Never knew any of that.
Thakambau ceded Fiji to the British to prevent it from being taken over by the Tongans.
So there's one of my favorite books in history. Was one of my favorite history books in history. It's called 1066 and all that. It's a parody book from originally written by Punch magazine in the late 19th century, and it's and then republished it was published in 1918. But Punch was this parody comedy, but kind of upper class thing from England, and it's this completely sarcastically written, 50% accurate history book, and it describes all these time periods, in British history, and when it describes the rule of Queen Victoria, and it talks about how, Queen Victoria, when she became queen, she famously said, "We are not amused," which sparked a series of events by her subjects, a series of attempts by her subjects to try to find ways to amuse her, which were all the wars that happened during the Victorian period. So they start talking about all the different wars, and kind of. And they talk about they have the Zulu War, cause Zulus exterminated, peace with Zulus. And it was kind of after all of these attempts which failed, the very last one in the whole chain is Her Majesty's, or some treasonous people report that Her Majesty's lip was observed to tremble when she heard that the people of Fiji willingly ceded sovereignty to the British Crown. So they almost made her laugh at that. But yes, it was... But no, Hawaii got screwed, of course, worse than everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
I was really shocked when I went there. I was expecting there to be more. I've only been once, and it was only to the Big Island. I was surprised there was just nothing. There was nothing left. I was kind of expecting to see something.
Right? No, yeah. Everything's all modernized now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially the Big Island. It's a real tourist area.
Well, that's where I was. I was asking, in New Zealand we have marae, right? Like in Samoa, they've got the Mato buildings, and basically the tribal, the local tribe areas. They have meeting areas where you can just go hang out, where all the elders hang out. And I asked, where do you have one of those around here? I want us to just go and see. And I said, no, we don't have any of that stuff around here anymore. It's really cool that you have it. But yeah, it was kind of sad.
Yeah, it is sad, man.
So no more kava circles. I had kava once.
Wow.
It's horrible. It tastes like mud.
Well, that's what makes it Fijian so tough.
Yeah. It makes you a little bit buzzed, but it tastes good.
Yeah.
So I went to a concert recently. I just saw Weezer and Panic at the Disco.
Oh yeah,
Pretty cool concert, man.
I saw you posting about Panic at the Disco. That was good.
Yeah, it was really good. So crowded. We were hanging out in the parking lot playing Giant Jenga. I got like this Giant Jenga set we made out of 2x4s. It was a big hit. We had patrol cops and everyone stopping, talking about it, and wanting to play. It's hilarious, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was a very good show, though. Bands played very good. Met some cool people. Met some 3 girls from Canada.
Pretty girls from Canada. Those are my favorite types of girls from Canada.
Yeah.
Me too.
It was nice. So.
Oh man, I haven't been to, it's been so long. I'll tell you, if you ever get the chance to come to Japan when Fuji Rock Festival is on, I went to that every year for the first 4 or 5 years, and it's a big chore getting up into the mountains for it. But, oh man, it's just the most magical thing ever. It's like, it's on a ski field in, quite high altitude up in the middle of summer. But there's like 200,000 people generally go along and they camp for the 2 or 3 days that it's going on. And just so much really good music, like everywhere. Like there's like 5 or 6 different stages, and each one of the different ski slopes. And that just like changed my whole life going to that every year.
What time of the year? What time of the year is that going on at?
Midsummer.
Midsummer. Okay.
Yeah. So
I have to remember that. It sounds. I want to go now. It sounds so awesome.
Yeah, well, and you dig it because it's like there are 2. There's Summer Sonic, which is done inside a baseball stadium, which turns into a cauldron. It's really hot, and it's full of mostly metal and sort of harder, sort of rock focus. Whereas Fuji Rock is kind of a cross section of everything. There'll be a stage with dance music. There's a stage with sort of reggae and sort of ska music, and there'll be the big pop stage, and there'll be sort of indies bands, stages and stuff as well. The food is really good. And you're just up in the mountains at high altitude, chilling out and getting sunburned and drinking beer and just listening to awesome music and sitting in rivers and stuff like that. And the thing is with Japan, you do something like that in America, and there'll be lots of drugs and people fighting and stabbing each other and shit. In Japan, people are just happy and nice. You just don't get anything. It's just really chill. It's really good.
Here in Canada, especially in BC, when they go to festivals like that, it's all hipsters and hippies going how environmental they are, and then they just leave all their garbage everywhere.
Yeah. And there's another thing as well. Concerts in New Zealand, Australia, I think our Western culture is very, I don't know, it's kind of posy, like people think you're supposed to act a certain way and look a certain way, and they look at other people and they're kind of standoffish and shit. If you don't look like they're the right way. In Japan, really, no one gives a shit. It's what I like about it. You can come up dressed as Hello Kitty, and you'll have a perfectly enjoyable 3 days. Which is
I have to go with them.
That's nice.
Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
I've been to one local concert in Tokyo, and I definitely sensed less hospitable or hostile environment than at a normal concert in like America, because there it's like you said, everyone's sort of looking at each other and judging, and you can kind of feel it in the air, but I didn't feel it at all here.
No, that's really it. Like, I used to go to trance parties, and my Australian South African friend who was coming along with me, he was asking me, what percentage of people here you think are on drugs right now? And I was kind of shocked by the question. I've been here all my adult life, right? So, I kind of looked around, and I thought I'd give him what I thought was a high side number, and I said, well, maybe 15%. And he looked at me and he said, if this was Australia, it would be 99%. But which is to say, just, I don't know, people just who like the music and the good stuff is everywhere. They just go out and they're just going out to enjoy it, and you can kind of see on everything. You don't have this kind of tension about people being so conscious about everyone else.
I actually haven't been to too many concerts myself. I mean, I think the 2 biggest concerts I went to were Depeche Mode and Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson
back in the '80s, when that guitar sound that he's got, it's just that sound.
He's got a great voice. My dad's into country music, so I listen to it.
There'd be a lot of people on drugs at that Willie Nelson concert.
Especially Willie. Oh, Willie would be smoking for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, it was in Switzerland, so all the Swiss attendees were all dressed up in their cowboy hats and their cowboy boots. Kind of amusing, really.
So, Ty, what's the best concert you ever went to?
The next concert I'm going to is a Die Antwood. They're a band from, or a
I know.
two
South
group from
Africa.
South Africa. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to see them here in the end of this month.
I'm a big. I actually am. So you know they've got DJ High Tech.
Yeah.
The guy who makes the beat to. I mean, no, I'm a fan. I love just how they make their music almost the same way that we do actually.
Exactly.
But, but they do the performance thing and they just commit to it. The videos are awesome. And yeah, no, they're awesome. Oh, it's cool that you're gonna go see them.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
I'm so excited to go see them.
Yeah.
I just recently found out about this group, like in the last 3 months. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't heard very much from them. I heard like that song "I'm a Ninja,"
Yeah.
no, that Coochie Gucci song. What are those? I don't know. There's a lot of songs, and all of them are really good, very talented.
Yeah, you should go through YouTube. The videos are all really good. I mean, they've got this weird kind of in fact, actually, so they've kind of changed their personas a couple of times as well. They've kind of developed the characters that they sort of are, and they've tried to delete all the oldest videos of them being slightly different characters, but you can still find them if you dig around.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, no, it's really cool. You should. A lot of South Africans really hate them. they hate that these are like the most famous guys to come out of South Africa.
Yeah, I bet.
But no, that's really cool. But I was going to ask you before. So, what's the best concert that you've been to?
Oh, the best concert I've been to. Okay. Oh man, that's a hard question. The best concert I ever went to was when I went and seen Steel Pulse.
Steel Pulse.
And that was at Steel Pulse. They're a reggae band from the UK.
Oh.
And they got a song called Roller Skates, which is really popular. But it was the best concert I ever went to. I got to meet the band members, got their autographs. I met the guitar tech. I was playing with their guitars. I mean, that was probably the coolest concert, just to be able to do that,
Yeah.
But for a show, I guess Incubus put on a pretty damn good show when I saw them. That was like when they put out Morning View and that album, which was a great concert too. And, who else played with them? I think the Beastie Boys played with them at that show too. One of them.
Yeah. They went through a real sort of, I guess they were calling it alternative at the time. There was that time when they were going through that phase in the 90s where they were doing really experimental stuff. I think that, yeah, they were touring with bands like that. Well, okay, that's cool. How about Ben and Mata? What's the best concert you guys have ever been to?
Probably Slayer.
Slayer.
Not because it was like the best concert, but it was like my first concert by myself and with my friends and everything.
Yeah.
When I was 17.
What's a Slayer concert like? I told you about this before. There was a guy in my dorm who listened to nothing but Slayer and Megadeth and knew all the lyrics, which was incomprehensible to me, and would actually sing along every time it was playing, which was
it's loud. Funny story actually. One time I went to, I can't remember if it was Slayer, but it was like Slayer or Metallica or something. But I went with my dad when I was younger.
Yeah.
And if it's past 8 o'clock, he can't stay awake. And he actually fell asleep during the concert while they were playing.
I'll tell you, your dad sounds like he was the most hardcore guy there.
Yeah, I guess you could spin it that way for sure.
He's so hardcore he fell asleep at a Slayer concert. That's pretty. Yeah.
That's pretty damn hardcore, man.
Yeah, but so I suppose Slayer is my favorite. But next month I'm actually gonna go see Napalm Death, which is one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
They're playing in Tokyo. I think it's next month or September. I can't remember. But
Napalm Death. Never heard of them, man. Never heard. I'm gonna go check them out though. Sounds like a cool band name, that's for sure.
They've been around since like 1981, but they didn't. Their core sound and member base came at around. I can't remember, like late 80s or something. But they're kind of like a grindcore They started out as more like grindcore crust punk, but ended up more grindcore death metal later.
Yeah, the Wikipedia describes them as an extreme metal band from the West Midlands.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Mata? What's the best concert you've been to?
Well, like I said, I haven't been to too many concerts because I don't have the money, but I think the best one I ever went to was this all-day, the Zurich Festival of Country Music back in like 1986. And it was like an all-day affair. It had a lot of big names. Freddie Fender played, Willie Nelson, as I said, Merle Haggard was there, and a bunch of local bands too, which is surprising to me because I didn't realize that the Swiss were into country music. Apparently they are. But I remember it because it was like the first concert I ever went to. I had to fly to the UK to go to school the day after, but it was just amazing. Swiss people in cowboy hats was quite amusing to see. And off he goes. Was it something I said? Okay.
do you wear cowboy hats, Gabriel?
I have done in the past. I actually really like. Actually do really like country music, but I don't like what they call country music now. New country is just, pardon my language, crap.
Yeah.
You know, but the old stuff like the Freddie Fenders, the Merle Haggards, the Willie Nelsons, man, I can't get enough of them.
Yeah.
But I actually like the whole wide range of music. I even like Renaissance English music.
Yeah. Well, you know, yeah, I mellowed a lot. When I was, sorry, I'm just getting the message to turn off that light, which I did. My first concert when I came to Tokyo was at the Yokohama Baseball Stadium at night. It was an event which finished up with Denki Groove as the main event. And so I came from New Zealand, which has Auckland had one nightclub called The Box, which was just a black room with a cardboard box with holes in it spinning around a light bulb and music. And I show up on my first concert in Tokyo. I was in a stadium with 30,000 people dancing on the floor of the stadium on this awesome sound system to, I don't know if you've heard Denki Groove, but, you know, kind of the 80s, 90s, really, really cool beats, you know, sort of house and techno sort of, but real danceable. And the two MCs on are crazy. And one of the features of the band is that they just do great shows. And the guy, what's his name? I forget his name, but the DJ is awesome. And the main MC wears these huge costumes. You know, like he does a vocal on one of the techno tracks where he impersonates Mount Fuji. He gets this massive Mount Fuji shaped costume, and he's just jumping up and down, and you know, doing this. And you're 30,000 people going nuts inside the stadium, dancing at the same time to it. I mean, it was crazy, and with lasers and shit. So that was awesome. But the other real, for me, magic one was discovering the Scatterlights, which I didn't know anything about. I never heard anything from them before. But when I was at Fuji Rock Festival, up in the mountains in the middle of the day, I was just on the reggae stage, and the Scatterlights came on and played for an hour, and that was just, you know, awesome.
That sounds sweet.
Yeah, that was really good.
It seems like they always put on a good show in Japan with like costumes and outfits, and then everybody's dancing, not just one person. Everybody's dancing and moving in the crowd, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it's the vibe is really good with the events here. You know, so I really miss actually going up to them. I'm looking forward to when my son gets a bit older, and hopefully I can take him to a few.
I'm hoping when I go to Japan to get in a bunch of concerts.
Yeah.
I'm going to get myself the glow sticks and the towels and the today.
Oh, man. I tell you, among the many things I held on to, I've still got the surfboards, I've still got the turntables, but my rave pants are no longer. I did have to. I was made to throw them away. And they were cool. They were like, I had the tassels off the knees and the big flared legs, and it was like, oh my god, yeah, it was fun. My wife said, if you ever wear those again, it's divorce in any case, and they're taking up room.
I remember those kind of pants, man. Everybody used to sport those.
Yeah.
I remember those pants too. And late 70s. And then when I became a teenager, everyone was like, "No, we won't be caught dead in those." And I actually had a T-shirt back then that said "Death Before Disco." It was a reaction to the 70s, you know.
I know, yeah.
But we had some pretty awful pop synth as well.
Yeah.
I gotta drop out, guys. I appreciate the show and everything.
It's good to catch up. Let's do this again properly next month with Fog, with a guest, and we'll do it properly. I got to drop out too, but it's good to check in, and I'm going to go make some music, damn it. If not tonight, on the weekend, on the airplane.
All right.
So,
Yeah,
see you.
Gambate.
Okay,
Later.
see you guys. Bye.
See you later. I'm gonna drop out to catch you later, sorry.